Good morning, everyone. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a great day for this Friday of February 2023. I just really hope you're well. Now, today's just going to be a very short one because I think there's so many people out there that really need it. If you're watching this right now, then you're already all in. You have gotten to the point where you're realizing particular things need to change, and that's no small thing. That's a big thing, right? You're also here because you realize that there's times where we need help, and it's okay to need that help. And we're also realizing that most of our society has been so divided that it's been a struggle to work out who can help, right? So take it a little bit easier on yourself a little bit. Let yourself know that it's okay. You've done so much to get right here. Okay? Give yourself a bit of breathing space to give yourself a bit of credit, you know? Uh, there's so many things in your life that no one else has experienced because you're having a unique life experience. That's the whole point of us having life experiences that are different to each other. That's why we're not just clones everywhere, right? Your life experience is different to your brothers, your sisters, your mums, your dads, your cousins, your uncles, that weird guy down the street. You know, your life experience is different to all of them, which means you are already a pioneer. You are already a pioneering type person because you are forging your own life ahead where there's been no instructions as to how to do a lot of things. There's no instructions on how to process our feelings given to us at birth and through our childhood. You know, there's none of those things. You are literally paving your way, you're pioneering your way, and you're going from strength to building something to failing, then having to start again. You are trying and putting yourself out there. You're moving forward. So you're already here, which means you've done all that. And yes, there is more on the way to do, but give yourself a bit of credit. You know, there are people that most likely would not be able to handle some of the things you've experienced. It's the it's the idiom of when you really get to know someone, you actually become more grateful of your own shoes, and you kind of don't want to step. You don't really want their life experience, right? It's the thing of if you see someone driving a brand new Lamborghini, there's no point being jealous of that person because you don't know what their life experience has been. Okay? You don't know how many times that they got up at 4 a.m. and worked till 11 p.m. and stuff and did it all over the next day, and they did this and they arranged people and they had to hire and fire and inspire and grow and manage and put out fires, put on different hats. You don't know what their story is. And just like you may not want a particular person's shoes, just because they're driving a shiny car doesn't mean you necessarily want that person's shoes either. You know? So I think it's time that you give yourself that bit of credit. Give yourself a bit of breathing room to say, you know what? I've done the best I could with what I've been given. Okay? And there's no one else like you. And that's okay. That's good. Right? It means you get to pick and choose what suits you moving forward. Alright? It also means that it's also time to just understand that everything that has been done has already been done. Okay? That's done. but it's now your choice as to how you process it. What things you're going to heal, what things you're going to hold, okay? And what things you're going to use, what things you're going to learn from. Those are all things you can choose. I do recommend healing as many things as you possibly can, but sometimes people use particular hurts, right? Because within particular angers, within particular emotions, there is extra energy to be gained from that experience. So someone might use the experience of someone telling them that they cannot do something and you're proving them wrong as an energetic fuel, okay, rather than a dig, okay? So another one is that with Kelly and myself, being able to turn to each other a few months ago and go, thank God our parents abused us, traumatized us, and did all these things to us in the way that they did them. Because it proved that they're lazy and not ambitious. Because if they were ambitious, they could have actually had a chance of doing further damage to us. And so we became so grateful as to how that all came about. As much as it hurt going through it, as much it was devastating going through it, as much it was haunting going through it. There's particular screams that still do happen in the back of my mind from particular memories that I can never unhear, but it's been done. I can't undo that. So I also need to take time every now and again and give myself a bit of credit to say I have done some hard things, and yes, I have hard things ahead, but I'm here. I'm already all in just by being here. So that's why I thought I'd do this short one today to say, give yourself a bit of credit. No one else has had to walk the path you have, and the future you create from this particular point is also going to be unique to you. Yes, you're going to share it with particular people. You're going to say hello to new people. You're going to say goodbye to old people that no longer serve where you're going, right? You're going to be recognizing toxic people for what they are and letting go of those. You'll be recognizing healthy people for what they are and welcoming them in. But it doesn't have to be as overwhelming as it sounds if you give yourself a bit of time to say you're doing well, And I think it's one of those things that this world really needs them more of, more often, Just to let yourself know that you're doing well. You don't have to have all the answers, right? As long as you've got enough answers to know something of who you are, you'll be fine. If you're learning something about who you are, you'll be able to relieve more of anxiety and overwhelm and other stresses that you've had. Okay? You won't have to pull your hair out like I have in the past. You can give yourself a bit of credit. Just find some time sometime today and let yourself know that you're doing well, that it's okay to take a moment, realize how far you've come, and realize that you can truly create everything you wish in your future. That you don't have to play small. You don't have to worry about what anyone else thinks. Because a lot of the time when we worry about what other people think, those people aren't thinking about you anyway. They're thinking about themselves. Okay? Alright? It's like, you give yourself a bit of credit. Give yourself a bit of grace. Just a bit of breathing room to say you've done well. Yes, things in the past have hurt. Some things in the past still hurt. Yes. It's okay to feel those things. The problems become when hurt people start hurting other people. And that's why I think today's video here is really going to be important. Because there are people hurting. And it's not okay that they were hurt, but it is okay to feel it, understand that it's part of the journey, it's part of the process, it's part of everything, and that we can heal from these things and we can use them to grow forwards. We can use them to teach our children and our people that we love around us in our life to do better, to not hurt people, you know? So I thought I'd just take some time today just to let you know you're doing well, okay? You know, there's everything that's happened has happened. So you're already survived all that, you know? It's kind of like, so I was from South Australia originally. For 36 years, it took me to escape all the potholes they put in that city of Adelaide. And my cousin came up to me one day about, I don't know, about 2 years before I left. So about 8 years ago, I think. Anyway, he came up to me and said he was considering doing this. Like he'd already booked himself on this flight over to some really bad, like really dangerous place in Nigeria. And he was a bit worried because, like, in between booking that trip and between that time and seeing myself, you know, he was a bit worried because all these things in the news started popping up about machine guns and all that sort of stuff in that area. And his mum's a bit neurotic, right? And the northern suburbs of Adelaide and stuff are quite rough. Okay, so for those people that don't know. And anyway, so he was telling me how worried and concerned he was about this, right? And I just told him, I said, mate, why? You've already survived the northern suburbs of Adelaide. You've survived your mum's neuroses. You'll be fine. He just started laughing, right? Because it's about context. You know, you can get through any experience, and lo and behold, you know, he went and did the experience, and in the end, he wasn't actually worried about the crowd. He ended up having concerns illuminated about the people he was traveling with and the reasons they were doing particular things. Okay, it was a real eye-opener for him, you know. But I do remember him coming back and saying thank you because, like, if he hadn't have relaxed as much as he did before he went there and everything, he wouldn't have learnt those things and had his eyes open as wide as they were. So, you know, you can get through a whole. I mean, he ended up speaking in front of a crowd of like 100,000 Nigerians, most of whom had machine guns and everything, and he was worried about the people he was traveling with. You know, and even though the people he was traveling with didn't have weapons, you know, but their behaviors alerted him to some red flags as to the things behind what they were doing and why. You know, and yeah, he was saying how grateful he was and stuff that he was able to, like, have his concerns alleviated because he realized where the real problem was. You know, and started changing what he was doing. You know, anyway, so you know, this is why I make the joke every now and again and stuff about you know, we've survived so many things so far. You know, bloody this and that and mother-in-laws and all sorts of things and stuff, and we can survive anything, you know? Surviving is not the problem. It's never the problem, you know? You know, no one commits suicide because they're hungry. They commit suicide because they are lonely, they're upset, they feel depressed, they feel like they're unheard, and they feel unloved, uncared for, you know? Suicide and depression is an emotional thing. Yes, there can be eating problems and stuff arise from that, but that's not because they're starving. It's because they are feeling, like I was saying earlier, hurt people end up hurting other people. And like I was saying to a couple of different people yesterday, you know, when when our children and our loved ones sometimes struggle to put into words what they're feeling, they will do something to make you feel the way they feel. Okay? And it's up to us to recognize that they're not trying to hurt us when they do those things. They're trying to let us know that they're hurting in some way, and that they're trying to let us know, but they don't know how to put that into words. So they'll do an action, or they'll say something out of spite or something to make us feel the way that they feel, to say, look, I'm feeling something here, I don't know how to process this. You know? And sometimes it just requires us to sit next to them, put your hand on the back of their shoulder and hold them. Sometimes you don't have to say a thing. They just need to feel heard. They just need to feel understood. And this is where I say today and stuff with this particular life in itself is give yourself some credit. You have done so much. Alright? And before I sign off from this one today, remember the honeybee. Right? The honeybee goes around, and if you're asking it what its life purpose is, it would most likely say my deal is my goal, my life ambition, my life purpose is to make honey for my hive and support the hive, to collect nectar and turn that into the hive's resources and support my queen, right? So that my queen can then therefore create new queens and then breed and that sort of stuff, right? To support the hive is their life purpose. They have no idea or concept. They've been employed by plants to, one, be attracted to what the plants offer, so that the plants can then put pollen on them and spread that to another flower. Okay? So the honeybee is there thinking that it's just living its life, it's just enjoying the different treats of flowers and flavors of nectar, right? Having no realization that if without it and stuff, we have real problems. If all the honeybees of the entire world got together and said, nah, we're stopping what we're doing, we're going to sit on top of a mountain trying to work out what our life purpose is, we'd all be screwed very quickly. Okay? And that goes for us too. So my ambitions are quite large, yes, and they have purpose and they serve millions and millions and millions and millions of people later as I grow. And they already have in some ways. Okay? But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's my life purpose. It's just what I know I need to do in this lifetime. I need to help others in this multitude of ways. Okay? But what if my life purpose was to say the right thing at the right time to inspire 10 other people that actually are going to do better than I do later? I have no idea. All I know is to do what I'm doing. And I need to give myself grace as well to say I'm doing well. That it's okay to do the things I'm doing the way I'm doing them. You know? There's no such thing as perfect, just progress. You know? And every day we're just trying to do, especially people in this group, you're all trying to do the absolute best you can. Right? Yes, some days our best sucks. You know? But on the days that our best is awesome, we kind of make up for that, eh? So try to give yourself a bit of credit, give yourself a bit of breathing room. Again, Facebook's still not letting me see who's commenting or anything like that at the moment. So if you are watching this live, please do hashtag live. If you're getting value out of this, please do hashtag value. If you're watching the replay, please do hashtag value replay. And if they've got any takeaways out of this, please put the takeaways down there, please, and let me know so I can provide more and more content the way you like. Okay? Thank you and have a great day. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.